All right, everyone, giving meaning to the term, I have a bad feeling about this. Link in the description, archived of course. This is a CBS bit from 60 Minutes in which they claim that Iranian groups are planning to potentially assassinate former U.S. government officials, and one of them stands out particularly, and that's Donald Trump. I wonder why the Iranians would want to do that. Supposedly they're in the pocket of Russia, and Donald Trump is a good friend of Putin, so I'm smelling a rat here. I have a feeling that this is actually a plan by the elites to try to off him and then blame the Iranians to start World War III. Yeah, I'm going to go over the conspiracy theory edge on this one because it's a little bit too on the nose. And the hope is that if enough people are aware of this particular angle of what could happen, and it would get messy, that it won't happen at all because it becomes self-defeating to attempt to do so. I don't think that the Iranians have the clout to assassinate someone who has both Secret Service and private security protection on U.S. soil. I have a feeling that that would be a bit on the difficult side. Of course, Donald Trump's also guarded by a bunch of fucking cops and sheriffs and shit like that because he has to be constantly in court. Mar-a-Lago has its own security team. Trump Tower has its own security. Probably more secure than some government facilities. Another reason why I didn't care when it was discovered that he had all sorts of classified documents in the Mar-a-Lago next to the pool room. Yeah, behind two locked doors in an area continuously patrolled, I don't think that that's particularly a problem. Seems like the only one accessing the materials directly was Donald himself. This would effectively be the elite killing two birds with one stone, in the most literal sense. Knock off Trump because you're scared of him, because you know that he won't start wars with other countries. And supposedly, again, according to some sources, Donald Trump explicitly rejected Milley's proposal to attack the Iranians, again, fitting in with the false narrative that Donald Trump is some sort of Russian puppet. If the unipartyists are telling the truth and that's really the case, then this can only be analyzed as bullshit propaganda. It can only be analyzed as sort of a predictive warning to people. Hey, by the way, we're going to shoot Trump and then we're going to blame the Iranians and obviously then go to war with them because then that's the second bird that you want to kill. It's been an obsession of the Uniparty for decades and decades. They're obsessed with the topic of starting a war with Iran, which again could lead to a nuclear conflict. That appears to be what they're hinting at here. I mean, again, how else am I supposed to analyze what I'm seeing here, especially with the ominous music, pans in on Trump's face, including President Donald Trump. Come on, I mean, it looks like propaganda. It's exactly the sort of thing that I would expect, actually. It's almost formulaic and bizarre. I think that they're trying to prepare people in case they get the opportunity. Now, this doesn't mean that they actually make an attempt on Trump's life. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that obviously there is a possible plan to do so. And I mean, they've probably had that plan in mind since Donald Trump, won in 2016. They're like, shit, somebody who we can't bribe because he's too rich, who actually has principles. Well, that's against our principles to have principles. You're not supposed to actually represent the United States when you're in office and try to actually improve people's lives through some form of reform. You're supposed to talk a big game during the election and then do a 180 the second that you're in office and just play nice. And so when Trump didn't do that, I think that they immediately began concocting backup plans. I mean, they certainly had their legal insurance policy now, didn't they? I think that if they can't take him out through lawfare, and it looks like he's going to be reelected, yes, I think that they'll at least think about killing him. If it does happen, it's terrible to say this, but I wouldn't be massively surprised. And I wouldn't be massively surprised seeing this propaganda if they blamed like Iran or some group like that, which would be mysterious because they've spent years telling me about Donald Trump's very close ties to Iran's masters in Russia. Why the hell would they kill him? I mean, especially if he gets reelected, wouldn't they like having a Russian puppet in the White House? Because that's what we've been told. I mean, the real story is, of course, that's not true, but I don't think the Iranians are actually planning to do this. I think that maybe groups associated with Iran, like the CIA, would be planning to do it. They've got plenty of ties to Iran. What about the FBI? They don't seem to be particular friends of Donald Trump now, do they? I think that there's shenanigans afoot. It's making me uncomfortable. Generally, it takes a lot to get me to get into, at least the edge of conspiracy mode, but I mean, haven't we seen stranger things anyway? We've also got a Kennedy in the presidential race, so there's always the chance for a twofer. And that family has an awful lot of bizarre deaths. So too do people associated with the Clinton crime family, or the Bidens at this point. Lots of crazy shit goes on. Did we ever get any confirmation about that dude who drowned on Obama's property that one time, by the way? Did we ever get any follow-up on that story? I don't know. We're still waiting on that, along with a billion other things that are mysterious, like Epstein, etc. I think that the elites are not imminently going to do this. I think that they're waiting for an opportunity, and if it arises, they will pull the trigger. He goes into the Mar-a-Lago under house arrest or something, and all of a sudden, somebody's creeping around the outside fence or something like that. Because they are desperately terrified of Donald Trump. He really is the real deal. He really is attempting. He really is taking his shot. He's trying to get back into office and enact more populism. They don't want 4 more years of that. He's going to break more toys, especially now that they've shown their ass. He has no reason to hold back. I think that they're genuinely worried about that. They're worried that he'll use his own capabilities to try to unfuck the system to some degree. Even if it's just a soft reset back to like 80s Reaganism, it would be better than the globalist shithole that we're dealing with currently. Bidenomics is, look at the fucking polling. Yeah, I wonder why they came out now, in the wake of polling showing Donald Trump absolutely crushing Joe Biden in a re-election matchup, with or without third-party candidates, by the way. All of a sudden, it's then and only then that CBS comes out with this report. Well, there are people plotting to assassinate former President Donald Trump. No, really? By the way, why would they want to kill former officials anyway? Oh, it's because of Soleimani? No, I don't think so. I don't think the Iranians care at this point. But meanwhile, not on the hit list, any of the other public officials from yesteryear that did similar things. That makes a whole lot of sense. I'm sure the Syrians are involved too, probably Hamas, right? Just going right along with U.S. long-term foreign policy. It all fits in very, very plainly. See, it fits too well. The official narrative doesn't make sense. Because if the same people who are disclosing this and going to seriously discuss it are also telling me that the Iranians should fucking love Donald Trump because the people that are really running Iran are all in Moscow, well, please explain that one to me, CBS. Wouldn't that be nice? Why don't you do a little bit more digging? Oh, wait, you're legacy media, so you didn't do any digging at all. This thing is probably half constructed by the Biden administration. Well, we got to make sure that we got plausible deniability. If we ever get the chance to knock off Orange Man, we got to have somebody to blame. We need our own Lee Harvey Oswald, only this time it's more like a Saran, I suppose. He's still rotting in jail, and RFK Jr. is probably right about him as well. That's about all. Peace out.